Oh, hey, I didn't see you there.
Why were you facing backwards in your chair?
Because I didn't see you there.
Oh,
Because we missed a week.
Is that how you sit in every chair?
Yeah, we had a bye week on accident.
Well, yeah, I mean, we might as well start with that.
Well, you got little squeamish tummies.
Yeah.
Go ahead and skip forward a couple minutes.
Trigger warning. Bodily fluids incoming.
Y'all got sick. I mean, I was too, but like you guys had the flu. So,
well, we think it was either the flu or like a really gnarly stomach bug.
Yeah. Because I thankfully missed it. But you
somehow
I always get
fucking
sick.
clue.
I think we've talked about it before of I always get food poisoning.
Yeah.
Because I'm a mom now and that's just what happens. But you got Craig had it first, but we were like, oh, he ate too much or it was a fluke or whatever. And so it's like, okay.
The big thing is babies just are constantly gagging and choking and like
he's still trying to figure it all out.
It happens. So then, we
didn't think anything of it.
When he throws up once, you're like, nah. And then the second time he threw up was the next morning. Yeah. And it was like he shoved his hand too far in his mouth. And it was like, oh, okay, well, that's his fault.
Mm-hmm. Shame on you.
And then he did it again and it was like, ooh.
Yeah, because he had 12 ounces of food for dinner.
And then
a couple ounces of milk. Yeah. And then he turned into me and vomited all over myself or all over me, which was like that. Would you rather? Would you throw up on a kid or get thrown up on? I didn't know what to do because I just stood there frozen in vomit, and it was everywhere.
It was on you, the chair, the baby, the floor.
Yeah. But like you felt fine.
Well,
Bert was fine. We went on a date that night.
We went on a date that night, and like Saturdays normally when we record, and we were like, well, maybe we'll come back and record. Maybe we won't. We'll make it up Sunday, whatever. And we got back at like 9:00, and like we ate a bunch of food. So I was like, man, my tummy feels a little, but like we really went hard. And so then I was just like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Right. And that didn't go super great. And I was like, that's weird. And then babysitter left. We were hanging out and then got the kids to bed. And like, I just could not stop going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And
you had it bad. I've never seen you that sick in my whole life.
I think I told you, but like in 32 years of living, I have never been that sick ever. It was misery. I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital because
I kind of thought so too.
It was so bad because then, I couldn't stop shitting myself. And then I started throwing up. And once I started throwing up, I couldn't stop. And
you couldn't move.
And it got so bad that like when I would throw up, I would shit myself. And like I couldn't do anything.
Like I found you naked on the bathroom floor.
Yeah.
Just laying there.
And it was just awful. And then I got to the point where like, okay, I'm going to clean myself up. I'm going to get in the shower. So like I cleaned everything up, got in the shower, was rinsing myself off. And then like, I was like, oh God, I got to sit down. And then I sat in the bottom of the shower and I was so weak. I couldn't stand up. So I was in the bottom of the shower for easily 20 minutes.
Well, at the same time you were in the shower, Bert came down the hallway. It was like, Mommy, my tummy hurts. But she, she says that when she's hungry. So I was like, it's okay. Let's go back into bed. And she did. And then she got up a little bit later and then she like vomited in our bed. Well, not in the bed, but like in the bedroom, in the hallway, found out in her room. And like, she's 2.5. She doesn't know what's happening. Right. So she's scared. And all I can really do is just like hold her at a 45-degree angle. Like, it's okay. And like, thank God.
You're dealing with that while I'm in the bathroom literally dying.
And at least like Craig was sleeping. Yeah. Like a little angel baby.
By that point, he seemed like he was better. And then Bert got really sick. I got horrendously sick. So then get out of the shower, finally get cleaned up, get dressed, go to bed, and then like I would just wake up and just start to vomit.
Yeah, like
you
couldn't even get uncovered.
Nope.
It
was
was
shoot
awful.
awake and then just start throwing up. And so I didn't really sleep at all Saturday night. Sunday rolls around and like I was so drained. All I could do was lay down. And thankfully you didn't get sick because
we wouldn't have made it.
Hell no. But like Craig was doing better. Bert didn't really seem that sick the next day.
I think maybe she got sick once in the morning, but that was it.
And then, but I was afraid to eat. I was afraid to drink anything. And then like everything just hurt because I spent all night getting sick, and I, finally ate a little bit, but I ate what, like toast and a bowl of cereal or something. And that was all I ate on Sunday. And then Monday came, kids were better. And then we took the kids to school. Luckily I work from home on Mondays, but like it felt like I had a side stitch all the way across my ribs because I was still so sore. It was just the most miserable I've ever been.
It was bad.
And then of course, like you wake up Monday and you're sick.
Like, cause I had a cough. I remember the last time we recorded, it never got better. I mean, maybe a little bit. And then like this week it got so bad, and my job is talking on the phone.
Yeah, all
constantly, all day. One phone call. I got 3 more on hold, baby.
Right.
And then I got to answer them, and it's just a never ending cycle. And I was losing my voice so hard.
Yeah.
And then I eventually took off work towards the end of the week just because it's like, I can't talk anymore.
Right.
If I'm not putting someone on mute to hack my brains out, and people are like, I'm having a real hard time understanding you.
I can't hear you. Well, yeah, no shit. I'm barely talking at a whisper because my throat hurts so much.
Like, they're like, I think your connection's bad. I'm like, no, it's just me. I'm dying. But I'm a millennial and I can't take time off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I did.
Guilt-free time off. So yeah, needless to say,
we've been through it.
Between the weekend being so terrible and then you getting sick throughout the week, like we just never had a chance to record. So here we are. We're back.
Hi.
Also, I guess while we're talking about not doing the podcast like we wanted to, we also have like shat on our goals this week too. Because I think after getting sick, so like we were doing yoga every day. We were doing really, really well.
We were doing super good.
And then getting sick like that, like I couldn't move. So like, granted, obviously I wasn't going to work out, but boy, I fell off the train hard. I was just like, I don't want to. Yeah. I don't care.
Because I missed a couple days and I made them up. But then like getting sick like that, and I remember there's a couple hard nights with bedtime, and we just got to the end of the night, and it was like, I just want to lay in our bed before 10:30. Yeah. Before 10.
Yep.
We don't, I just want to lay horizontally under some covers.
Right.
Before that time.
Yep.
And I was like, yoga, this journey has ended for me, Adrian. I love you. Bless up. I found what felt good for most of the month.
I think I'll probably try and go back and finish it, but it'll probably bleed into February.
Yeah.
Because I was going to try and like, I'll do 3 videos in a day, which is like an hour of yoga, which is totally feasible, but it sounds like homework.
Well, right. And then, because then I know we talked, and I've been like super motivated on it right now, but it's also still January. Like February, it's a short month. I mean, sort of.
Before you continue what you're about to say, why don't you put it into the universe?
I'm doing it. I'm saying it.
Oh shit.
So if anyone else wants to join the challenge for February, it's nothing crazy. It's just, I thought about cutting it back a little bit. So
now we're changing the challenge?
Well,
is it still a challenge?
Yeah. We're not going to get takeout the whole month of February.
Which means anything.
Nothing.
If we don't make it, we can't have it.
Right. No ice cream. Ugh. So I feel like we're doing it big today or this weekend.
Kind of. Yeah.
I mean, you didn't eat lunch, but like I had a factor meal. which I don't feel like counts as takeout.
No, Factor doesn't.
Yeah, but like
Right.
we had Chick-fil-A for breakfast.
Which was very good.
Super good.
They forgot my salsa, though.
Yeah, that salsa is good. And then we had Swenson's for dinner.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we're going to have coffee and donuts, which is just something that we do, but not in February.
That's our normal Sunday. Well, you know, February is only 28 days.
Right.
It's not a leap year this year, right?
No, I don't think so. Well, I don't know. We'll have to double check that. But I want to do 20 minutes of weights
Okay.
or some variation on lifting things. 20 minutes of cardio every day,
So 40 minutes total daily?
daily.
No rest.
Well, I can do like a low impact cardio. So it's not like,
Is it either or?
no,
Both.
both.
Oh, okay.
Like a walk, like a 20-minute walk
Sure.
counts as cardio.
Okay.
Just vibe and just
I'm not
walk.
trying to define it. I'm just like 40 minutes a day is a lot more than you're doing right now.
I've been doing at least 20 minutes of yoga most days. And then I did that 45-minute bike.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you don't
I know,
exercise,
I know.
honey. I'm just saying from nothing to 40
It's
minutes
a challenge, baby.
All right. Hey, girl.
And no takeout. That's
here-
it. That's what I'm doing. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Shreduary.
Well, I want to take before and after pictures. I know we talked about that at the beginning of January. I didn't do it.
I didn't either.
So February, it's happening. I want to.
Are you doing like daily pictures, weekly pictures?
I wasn't sure. Daily seems like too many.
I feel like
But
with
weekly
no
doesn't
takeout
seem-
and 40 minutes of exercise,
I'm going to
every-
be hot.
you can get to the end of February.
Mommy is going to be sexy. Which is also why it's like I want to do the before and after pictures.
Yeah.
But it's like once a week doesn't feel like enough. Is that enough? It's like 4.
I think you're going to see bigger differences if you do it once a week.
But if I did once a day, I could do like that really fun time lapse.
That's true.
So I don't know.
Maybe you could do once a day and then you pick your 4 favorites.
That's true.
And then you do like, these are my week highlights.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because I thought about like recording them and like making them faster. Speed time lapse it.
Time
Post it.
Time
like,
lapse.
Time lapse to try to stay accountable.
Sure.
But it's like, I guess there's still a couple days until February 1st. So I got like,
We've been talking a lot about our YouTube channel other than the podcast. So it's like maybe this will be the kickstart that it needs.
just me being sweaty and
I'd
authentically me.
sign up for that channel.
I was going to say ugly, but authentically me.
That's being very nice to yourself, honey. I appreciate that you changed your language.
Thank
there.
you.
We've talked about a lot of challenges. Like the no takeout thing is obviously going to affect
It's
both of
going to be
us.
so incredibly hard. I got 2 frozen pizzas.
And a gallon of ice cream.
Oh, I should have gotten
What
ice
the
cream.
fuck were you thinking?
I guess they're still time. We can get groceries.
I was going to say we're going to have to run to the grocery store
so
and
it
just get
won't
all
be
the treats.
takeout. Like, fuck, I really want ice cream. And then we're going to like drive on over to the grocery store and buy it and bring it home.
Make giant
Loopholes.
sundaes. Hey. Yeah. Because the one thought that I had, so at the beginning of January, I was like, I'm going to take a cold shower every day. I have definitely not done that. Because my plan was I was going to do it in the morning before work.
Right.
But I've been showering at night before bed because when do I have time to work out ever?
Right.
So I told myself for February that I was going to go get just a stock tank that they put horse water in, and I was going to get up and do a cold plunge every day for February at like 5 a.m. And then work out after my cold plunge every morning. And that would be my February challenge.
I think that's good. Can I tell you what my hang up would be for me doing that?
Sure.
I mean, number one, I don't like cold, which I know is part of the get up.
That's a part of the deal.
But it's like, then you're wet. And then you gotta like dry off and then put your clothes on.
God, could you imagine? Like,
Talk about a first world problem. I'm wet.
You're damp, and then you have to dry yourself. That takes like all of 2 minutes. Who has time for that?
Then your clothes are gonna be cold because they're out in the garage, presumably. Yeah, I'm just telling you.
You're getting out
Maybe
of
this will be my March. My March, April, or May.
I'll do this in June when it's 95 degrees outside.
At 5 a.m.
Yeah.
That's fine. No, that's a great goal.
Because even if I don't work out, I think it'll at least be the getting up at 5 every day to try and get myself back into that routine, and then doing the cold plunge or maybe just a cold shower. I do feel like I've like, part of it's the way we've been eating, but like my joints have been really swollen. It feels like my hands have been hurting a lot more the last few days. So, maybe a cold tub and no fast food will do my body a little bit of good.
Because in my brain, I'm like picturing like night and day, who is she results.
I mean, it very well could be.
So I'm trying not to like hype myself up too much.
Because when you did low carb before, you lost weight pretty quickly, right? I don't remember how quickly. I don't think it was my keto losses, but...
No, it was good. Like, I felt great.
Yeah.
But, because, I mean, I'm not doing necessarily low carb. I did buy some salad. I'm going to try my hardest to not throw it away.
I mean, at this point, we might have a Guinness World Record for buying the most lettuce that we never consume.
I think we still have lettuce in there that's, like, good for, like, 2 more days. I looked at it, and it's not, like, gross.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to have a salad tomorrow. I did get more goat cheese.
Oh, yeah, the blueberry goat cheese salad you made.
So I got blueberries.
Chicken thighs.
I got chicken thighs. The best chicken in the world. Chicken thighs are so much better than chicken boobies.
I disagree fundamentally.
We're going to put a poll on the Spotify.
Okay.
Chicken thighs or chicken breasts?
I mean, you could just say thighs or breasts and see what people say.
Thighs.
I just, all I ever grew up eating was just chicken breasts.
Me too.
That's all I ever had.
And it's just so dry.
If you cook it wrong.
Yeah, but like
there are ways,
chicken thighs, you can cook it wrong and it's still not dry.
That's a problem for me. Because now you've cooked it wrong and it's not good. And then I eat it and it's just a wet, not goodness.
It's not wet. It's moist. And flavorful.
There's more like gristle and stuff.
I mean, there's more fat, which is why I like it.
I know. Which is why I don't like it.
Man.
I mean, I'll eat it. It is good, but I'm not going to say that it's
fine.
It's fine.
It's fine, I guess.
Yeah, so I think that'll be my challenge. I think that's what I'll roll with.
Maybe we can do more meditation.
Yeah, we fell out of the meditation hard too. I was feeling really good about that.
Me too.
Even though it was typically our send off to sleep, it was still nice.
It was nice. Just to hear him talk with some rain. Hello, I'm Jeff Warner.
Yeah.
I didn't even get that far.
You hear the rain and then like,
You turn the rain on and then hit play, and I'm gone before the.
I will say the yoga before bed was really nice. It was
super nice because I like to maybe like stretch for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like a 10-minute, find a good 10-minute stretch video, probably Adrian, because she's just so sweet.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Come join us. Do something. Do your own thing.
Yeah. Instead of new year, it's new month.
New month. And then, because we talked about doing something else in March, because I turned 33 in March.
Yeah. That one, we'll have to plan around that one more, but I think we've got some ideas. Mm-hmm. So, a topic that came up for us that we talked about the other day was like childhood memories. Mm-hmm. We talked about it, and as we're talking about it, we're like, this would be great podcast.
It would. I don't remember exactly what we said, but.
No. So, a new conversation about the same topic. Yeah. Because we're both kids that came from divorced families. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people will say that like whatever age you were whenever the divorce happens, like that's a big traumatic event for a kid typically. So you'll like lose memories around then or even prior to then. And we were talking about like, do I have memories of like what my family was like before divorce? And I think for both of us, it was like, not really.
I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
Like the only thing I can recall, Like the memories I have of like younger childhood was more things that were told to me. So it's like, those aren't my memories, but I remember things because it was like photos that we have seen and things like that.
Sure.
And it's like, you know, we had talked and it was like, I don't remember how my parents parented. Because I not until like when we moved in 4th grade, we were at a house. And it was like, I remember like walking home from school and mom not being home because, you know, she was at work. So like we were like those latchkey kids.
Right.
It was like me and my brother for a long time. And then mom got married or, you know, met my stepdad and he had a son. Mm-hmm. So like then he was around eventually. But it's like, I just remember being alone most of the time. And it's like, we didn't go out and play. Like we all stayed in the house. But like what we did, I mean, I guess I was on AIM talking to people in chat rooms.
ASL. Really going deep down the dark web.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't remember a lot. So it's like those people that were like, had the greatest childhoods, remember everything. Like, God, I'm just so envious of that because I don't have any memories.
Yeah. Because I think all of it was prompted too because we were talking about like taking trips with the kids and like wanting the kids to be more worldly.
Yeah.
And helping them to build like fun memories. Because like the first time I ever got on an airplane, I was like 23 and I had to travel for work. First time I'd ever been in an airport, totally by myself. You know, I don't want my kids to be in that situation.
Right.
And, you know, I'm thinking through like parenting styles and examples of parenting. It's like, I don't remember my parents together. And I don't remember, I remember, this is going to sound worse than maybe I intended. And maybe it just is this bad. And most people will be like, oh, that's fucked. But, you know, I remember like violent things, being hurt or hit for things that I did, which I mean, like it was the 90s. That's
right. That was normal.
You know, our parents were raised in a world of capital punishment where like you could get hit at school. So, you know, it wasn't unusual for parents to spank you or hit you with things. And then like all of my other memories from that part of my childhood are me by myself or me with my brother out playing with the neighborhood kids or riding bikes somewhere or what, but like no adults. Like in my brain, it's like those movies where it's like it's all, or TV shows where it's all based around the kids and you're like, where the fuck are their parents?
Right.
That was my childhood where it was just us doing some like unruly shit with zero supervision. Yeah. The fact that none of us died, I won't say none of us didn't get seriously injured because there were stitches and broken bones and shit that happened, but the fact that like all of us made it out with all of our appendages and I'd say most of our sanity intact, pretty impressive.
Yeah. Because I feel like I was always around, especially before we ended up moving, like when we still lived in the country. Like I was with, from what I remember, a neighbor lady down the street named Sally. Because Sally would walk up and down, you know, this old country bumpkin road. So it was like, I'd go walk with Sally. And I was young.
Right.
Or like I'd go down to Sally's house. Or we called her baby grandma. Baby grandma lived a couple houses down. So we'd go down and hang out with her.
Right.
So it's like, I don't remember. And my dad wasn't around back then. I don't think.
Not that you recall.
Not that I recall.
Yeah.
Because it turned out, I thought my parents got divorced when I was 5 and my brother was 6. But I think I had recently found out it was 7 and 8.
Which isn't a huge difference, but still a difference.
Yeah. So it's like, dad wasn't around because he worked quite a ways away.
Yeah.
Or like if he was home, if he came home, you know, I was already in bed and he would leave before I got up.
Right.
Because like his parenting style was, let's be friends.
best friends.
Best friends. Mm-hmm. So like he would let me drink and have my boyfriends over. Obviously not a great parenting role. But back then I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah. As a 16-year-old girl, it's like, what could be cooler than having a place to drink
and getting wasted, supplied by my dad? Like, hell yeah. But in hindsight, when I lived with him early on
as an adult,
I was like, yo, this isn't the best spot for me.
Which is crazy for like an 18, 19-year-old girl to think like, boy, you know, I want to go party, but partying with my dad is kind of...
I'm more responsible than my dad, so I'm going to go. Because one of the first times you came over, you saw my dad's pee-pee. He was naked.
Yeah.
In a Snuggie, because he wanted me to take a picture of him for his girlfriend at the time.
I'll never forget that very scenario, because we came back to your house. It was later in the evening, or well, I guess your dad's house. And... the way that you went into his house was like through a breezeway and then through a sliding glass door. And you could like, when you walked into the breezeway, like the house was mostly dark.
Yeah.
Like there was a light on in the kitchen, but like everything was pretty dark. So it's like, oh, your dad must be in bed. And of course, like
as soon as we walked in the door.
And of course I'm the new boyfriend and I'm like, ooh, dad's house. Meeting dad,
right? Coming over late with his daughter,
night, right? Like I'm anxious, and then like we're standing in the kitchen, and then here comes your dad, butt ass naked under a Snuggie, and he's just giggling, and he's like, take my picture," so that he could send it to his girlfriend, and I'm just like, what in the fuck is happening?
Like, yo, this is normal.
Yeah, you're like, oh, hey, this is my dad. Dad, this is my friend. At that point, because you know we weren't official,
right.
And it was just like, nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah,
all of you. Hello.
Yeah, lots of naked time, drunk time.
It wasn't the last time I saw your dad.
It was
naked.
not, not alone. The next couple times there.
Yeah. So I've seen more of your dad naked than I've seen most men naked in my life.
Yeah,
and I have a brother. You know. So, interesting way to meet your, well, at that point, cute girlfriend's dad.
Right, yeah. And now
that's the introduction to the family.
That relationship is sans that relationship.
We've done away with it.
Quite some time, years ago.
Yeah, before kids.
Yeah. And then with kids, it just kind of solidified that.
Well, right. It's like the relationship with my mom. We're like probably 11, 12 years out since the last. I mean, we've seen her because I have a brother and a niece and, you know, so like family functions, she's been around, but haven't spoken to my mom in 12 years. Which at this point is, you know, coming pretty damn close to half of my life.
Right. Isn't that wild?
Yeah. I mean, like we've been together this year. We talked about it. This year will be 13 years, which means like we've almost spent more of our life together than we have separately. And I say almost, like we've still got another
front end estimation, baby.
Well, it's like another 7 years, but like in the scope of all of our relationships prior, because I think my longest relationship before you was like 3 years.
Mine was 3.
It was high school.
It was on and off mostly.
Yeah, I mean mine was too. But
3 years.
Yeah. It's just interesting to think about, like you try to recall things from your childhood. Like obviously photos and family videos and stuff will like help recall some of that stuff. But you just go, oh, what's like a really happy childhood memory?
Oh my God.
Like if you thought about it, like a happiest childhood memory?
Well, because I remember, I don't know why it came up. It was when we were still talking to my mom and that side. She said something about like, well, what was your favorite thing that I've ever got you?
Oh, for Christmas.
For Christmas. Do you remember this?
I do.
And I was like, I don't remember. I don't know. Because I don't know. The only gift that I can remember being like I screamed when I opened it, was a Furby from my stepmom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, I remember I opened it and I screamed so loud because I was so happy.
That's so funny.
Isn't that?
I guess I don't remember when Furbies came out. Do you remember how old you were?
Early, like junior high, early high school. It has to be junior high.
Yeah. Like middle school
Before
age?
I had braces, or just as I had braces, like late middle school, early high school.
Okay.
So
I'm just trying to think of like how old you were when you're screaming about Furbies.
I was still fairly young. You know, Furbies were hot.
Yeah.
So it's like.
But is that your happiest childhood memory, or is it just your favorite gift that you've got?
Well, I think like favorite gift, because it's like happiest childhood memory. Honestly, I don't know. Which is so sad.
Isn't it? It is very sad.
Like, it's not happy, but I remember playing with Buster, who was like a shepherd mix way back when, but they kept him outside, so not a house dog. Mm-hmm. We were roughhousing, and he pawed at my face and knocked out my canine tooth that wasn't loose. So I remember that. Not super happy.
I was going to say, that doesn't really sound like a happy memory, but it is a memory.
Yeah, so I honestly don't. Well, funny to me, when we lived back then, our cousins came over from Arizona, and oh gosh, what was his name? Preston? Obviously, we're not super close. Preston and Cameron, I believe, were their names. Like, so we lived in the middle of nowhere. And we had like a manure pile to like fertilize the garden. And like Dad had like a putting green at like a 1-course golf course. So he had the manure for that. And it was like this huge pile, you know, Peppa Pig style. Mm-hmm. And I remember we were playing back there, and I don't know who pushed him, but the youngest cousin got pushed face first in the manure pile. And that was funny.
And
laughed and laughed. Yeah. But other than that, honestly, I don't have anything else.
Yeah, that feels like something that needs worked out in therapy.
This is cheaper than therapy. That's what this is for.
I know, but I don't have the skill set to help you uncover.
Isn't that awful
memories.
though? Like for you to ask that, and I'm just like, because I knew my memory. I mean, my memory is terrible on a good day. But it's like, what happened to me?
Well, I've just filled you with so many new great memories.
Well, I mean, that's totally accurate.
So you just dump that old shit. You're like, this isn't even that cool.
I was young. Who cares? What would you say yours is?
Well, I was thinking about favorite gift as you were talking about yours. I have two that come to mind. The original PlayStation, like that gray. I don't even know. I just call it PlayStation Gray, but like that gray boxy console with the disc that opened up on top. I got that with Spyro the Dragon. Still one of my favorite games ever. That was such a good game. So that was an awesome Christmas. And then I remember it had to have been middle school. All I wanted in the world was shell-toed Adidas.
Yeah.
All I wanted.
Those were so cool.
What are they? The All-Stars?
Something like that. Because I had like that rubberized.
But they were all white with 3 black stripes. Oh, sickest shoes ever. And I got a pair for Christmas the one year. And like, man, I just went back to school after Christmas and was just like,
strutting.
Look at these fucking kicks, baby. Loved those things. That was another one that really sticks out in my brain. But like happiest memory. I have a lot of memories, but like so many of them are tied to like, yo, this fucked up shit happened. Right. You know, somebody getting hurt or like something like that. Or the police showing up. God. I have memories of, we didn't really get an allowance, but like I did all the laundry in the house. So I would, if I found change in the dryer, I would keep it. And I saved up enough quarters to buy myself a Papa John's pizza.
Oh my.
So like I didn't roll the quarters. I just literally had counted out stacks of like $12 of quarters. And I remember I ordered the pizza, like, you know, called the pizza place, ordered this pizza for delivery, shows up at the house, and I just hand this poor delivery boy $12.
That's so many quarters.
In quarters. And he was like, I don't think I can take this. And I was like, I don't have any other money.
Right. I'm a child.
Yeah, I was like 10. And he took it and he was just like, I guess I'll just like take it out of my tip money or whatever and just like keep all the quarters.
Yeah.
And you know, this kid, he had to have been like a 16 or 17-year-old kid, right? So like he's not that much older than me.
Right, just a couple years older.
And but I remember like that pizza was so fucking good.
Because you bought it, you earned it.
Yeah, I felt like I went through some shit to get those quarters.
Yeah, literally doing everyone else's laundry.
And yeah, I like that to me was a happy memory of just like sitting down by myself in front of the TV. I was home totally by myself, like literally nobody was home, and just sat there and ate this whole medium Papa John's pepperoni pizza by myself.
Because I remember like, I mean, it's high school, so like junior year.
Yeah, because like when would you say childhood memories are over? Are you still a child if it's before 18?
I would think like when I hear like what's your favorite childhood memory? Like before
10?
Like before junior high. Like sixth grade or younger.
So sixth grade,
like 12.
Oh, okay.
Or like before 10, yeah. Because like your pre-teeny, you know, your frontal lobe is starting to form and things are getting wonky.
Sure.
Yeah, like before 10.
Okay. I was just I'm trying to like rack my head now on like happiest childhood memory.
Happy? I honestly,
because I feel like some people would hear my quarter pepperoni pizza story and just be kind of sad.
Well, I feel like anyone listening to this is like, oh my God, that's so sad.
Well, because like I told you, and I remember you got so sad when I told you.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to say.
I used to get my nice clothes out of the Lost and Found at school. I would just go to the Lost and Found and take other people's clothes because they lost them and I found them.
They were nice. They were probably name brand or like lightly used.
I went to a very large school district and like also I would say wealthy, but like it's a nicer in the area of school districts around us. It's the nicest school around, and we were not well off when we were kids. Like we were not like poverty level, but we were definitely not like there are rich people that live around here. So like, you know, my clothes were Goodwill, Walmart, which I mean, I totally fine.
My favorite shirt at this moment is from both of my favorite shirts are from Goodwill.
I picked them both out.
You did.
But yeah, I remember I found it was a yellow Hurley hoodie. And I was like, oh shit, this is like a $60 or $70 hoodie. You know what I mean? I was like,
it's mine now.
And then I remember I wore it to school the one day and there was a kid that was like, hey, where'd you get that hoodie? And I was like,
those shops.
I got it from PacSun OBS. And he was like, I think that's my hoodie. And I was like, no.
You're
and then
crazy.
And then I never fucking wore it to school again.
You got caught.
But yeah, like legitimately, I took several things out of the Lost. And I remember my mom was like, where did you get that? And I was just like, I won it in a bet at school. And she was just like, sick.
Good job.
You know, like how bizarre for your kid to come home with like new nice clothes and you're like, where did you get those clothes?
I feel like I would have questioned you maybe a little bit harder, but to each their own.
Yeah.
You know, we all parent different.
My mom was just like, well, as long as you didn't like beat somebody up and take it, I guess she was just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. Which is so incredibly sad that we're But look at us. We turned out fine.
Well, and I guess that's maybe like, that's the silver lining to all this is like, you can have like a kind of a wild, fucked up childhood and maybe not the best relationship with your parents and still be like a good person and be a really great parent and like love your kids regardless of how your parents treated you or like the world that you came from.
And like, this may be a shock to some people. Blood is not thicker than water. You can absolutely choose your family.
Well, you got to use the whole saying.
I don't know Bible.
I don't think it's from the Bible, my love.
Well, I don't know it. Jesus said unto thee, you can pick your fam.
Because it's like, oh shit, now I forget the exact
Blood is thicker than water, and water is wine.
Yep.
Eat some bread and fish. Bless up.
I think
is that offensive?
I think it's the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. So it's like the family you choose is stronger than the place that you came from.
Well, I ad lib.
I mean, I really like your version of it. I might put that on a t-shirt actually.
I think someone should.
Eat some bread and fish.
Drink some wine. Hey, salud.
Salud.
Yeah, you can pick your family. If they fucking suck, cut them out.
Because I think it would be interesting, to talk to like my brother and hear his perspective. Because his perspective's got to be so different.
I mean, you guys are 6 years apart. Just that alone.
Right. But I mean, like, the house that we grew up in, like, he had these memories that I'm just like, I don't
know, bro.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if I don't remember it because I was never in the house. Because like I was I was 16, 17. I'm out in the world. I got a job. I'm playing sports.
Right. Girls,
the whole thing.
You're elsewhere.
So it's like, is it just I wasn't around? And then, how different is his perspective on like our parents and that, because he was 2 or 3 when our parents got divorced. So like, I mean, really all he ever knew growing up was
you don't have
divorced
memories
parents.
back then.
But it's just like, how different is his perspective on parents and parenting because of that? And it's one of those things, like if we could talk to your brother, it'd be interesting to hear like his perspective on it too. Cause it's just like, you guys were a lot closer in age. So it's like, how does that change your perspective on stuff? But
because I remember my mom had said when they told us they were getting divorced, my brother cried and I pulled the cover over my head, and that was it. I obviously don't know for sure. She didn't say I cried. It was just I pulled the covers over my head and that was it.
Yeah. I remember when they told me, so my dad took me for a motorcycle ride and we went out to Portage Lakes. And like we're walking around the lakes and he was like, hey, me and mom are getting a divorce. And like I was like, I don't know what the fuck that means.
Right. Cool, Dad.
And then it had to have been pretty quickly after that. He was like packing stuff up from our apartment and leaving. And I was like, hey, yo, this ain't, where are you going?
Right. This ain't cool.
And they like sat me down on the couch and I remember just weeping, like bawling my little eyes out. And they were like, well, what questions do you have? Like, how can we help you understand? And we had 3 birds at that point. We had a parakeet named Pete, and we had 2, I forget what breed they were, but they were 2 other birds. And I named them Mystic and Rainbow because they were rainbow colors. And I just remember crying. And the first question I asked is, who gets the birds? But we didn't have the birds for very long after Dad was gone. Cause like I was a child. I didn't know how the fuck to take care of birds. I just thought it was funny when they flew around the house when we let them out of their cage. And then, they'd like land on your shoulder and poop and you're like, ew.
Birds are gross.
And you could like whistle at them and they would like whistle back at you. But yeah, I don't know. Birds aren't like, to me, like great pets, but I need like a big hardy dog that I can like shake.
Yeah.
I need to be like, grab a hold of it. And you can't do that with a bird.
No, you definitely cannot. You surely can't.
So yeah, childhood can be rough, and you can still make it through on the other side. Yeah.
You can choose to be different, and God damn it, it's hard.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's, everybody really like harps on the gentle parenting thing, but I think it comes from a generation of people that had childhoods like what we're describing, where it's like, no, I want my kid to remember love, and I want them to remember what it's like to hug their parent,
right,
and to see their parents love each other.
Because I remember we had talked about this too. My parents, my mom and my stepdad, had only recently, in the last 6 years.
It had to have been longer than that.
Okay.
Like, shortly after we started dating, I think.
Yeah, they started hugging. And I was so incredibly uncomfortable by this, even a hug from my mom.
Right.
Because I don't remember hugging. Like hugging, kissing, love you.
Well, and it's a love language thing too, right? There's
right.
just some families that like aren't
touchy.
Physical.
Right.
Yeah.
And like we weren't that.
Yeah.
So like when we had started dating, we were engaged, or maybe before that, I don't know, a couple years in, like she would start to hug me. And I'm like, whoa. Okay.
Which is really funny because one of your primary love languages is physical touch. And they do say that your love languages as an adult are typically what you did not receive as a kid.
But also it's like, I don't want other people to touch me. Because I remember Chrissy hugged me once. I wasn't ready for it. And she talked about it for years. She's like, I remember that one time I hugged you and you stiffened up like a board. And I remember, at one of my other jobs, my manager hugged me. And I was like, oh. And I was like so incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it's like, my love language with you is physical touch, but like, right. Anyone else, I'm like, do not.
Well, or like
me.
the kids too. Like,
yeah. Oh, I'm all over the kids.
Right. So it's just, I don't know. It's just funny to think how different that is.
And then like a while later, after she started hugging me, like when we would leave or whatever, my stepdad started to hug me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, what? I got goosebumps thinking about how uncomfortable I was. Because it's like, that's just not something we did. And like, how bizarre. How did I get here? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a long, windy road.
Yeah.
With a few potholes and, errant trees.
I don't want our kids 30 years from now
to be having the same kind of conversation.
Like, I want them to have so many happy memories of their childhood that they just can't pick one.
Well, we always talk about wanting our kids to be like the people that you see on some of these reality shows where they're like, my mom's my best friend. They're my inspiration. My mom and dad are the best. I don't remember what show, but there was somebody that had a picture of their mom in their bathroom.
That is what I aspire to be. I want to be a picture in their bathroom because they love me so much.
Like, that's my mom.
I love my mom so much. My dad is like my guiding light, whatever.
Yeah.
God, I cry every time.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that like?
Yeah.
And the fact that like there's people that absolutely love their grandparents. Like, obviously, I loved mine because our kid's middle name is her name.
Right.
And it's like, it's so sad to me too that like our kids won't have that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, my grandpa on my mom's side was one of those people, and like, look, everybody's got some dark shit in their past, and he was not the best of people in his past. But like, to me and my cousins, he was just like, especially all the boys, because he was very much like that old school kind of guy where like men work on cars and they weld and like, you do like hard shit. And he like taught us how to do a lot of that stuff. And, that's stuff that like I hold really dear. But like my other grandparents, like I didn't have a real close relationship with.
Because I remember when we had first started dating, you went to my grandma's house, my other grandma, and she was always a weird bird. Yeah. And it's like one of my childhood memories is I remember going to her house because she lived next door on the other side, and I had cornflakes with sour ass milk.
Oh God, that makes my stomach hurt. Just
Now,
thinking
I don't
about
know
it.
if it was bad milk or just like skim milk or something.
It was like a
It was
buttermilk.
not good milk. And I remembered vividly because I would always add more raisins and more sugar because who wants to eat cornflakes? No, Raisin Bran.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Basically same thing with raisins.
Whoa, you made your own Raisin Bran? That's wild.
It was Raisin Bran, but I added the other stuff. And I just remember the milk was so sour. So
Gross.
not a happy memory, but I remember that.
Yeah.
And watching Antique Roadshow with her in her bedroom with dolls.
You having like a food memory makes me remember when I was at my mom's parents' house, and me and my cousin, like, we'd been playing all day, whatever, and my mom shows up to pick me up, and she's like, "It's time to go. Like, you need to get your ass in the car." And I had just made myself a bologna sandwich, and I was like, "Mom, I just made the sandwich. Can I bring it with me?" And she's like, "You cannot eat that in my car." She's like, "We need to go now." And I was like, "But I'm so hungry." She's like, "Hurry up and eat it." And I was like, just eating it at a normal pace. And she's like, "You need to eat that faster." And I like shoved it in my mouth. And I remember I gagged on it because the bread got stuck to the roof of my mouth, and I threw up.
I remember you told me this before. It's still funny.
So like, happy memories. See, it all goes back to like some like traumatic thing.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like it was the best fucking sandwich I ever had. It was like I got bread on the roof of my mouth. I threw
See,
up.
this is a great therapy session because I remember before we moved, when we lived back in the country still, Mom got her a car. First car she had after the divorce. Super big moment for her in hindsight. It was a green Mazda sedan, like a hunter green, which I would love the color now. But I remember crying because I thought it was so ugly. So something that I'm sure she was so incredibly proud of, her first car after the divorce. And I was just a little shithole of like crying because it was so ugly. I was never going to get in it. Like, and I remember in that car, I threw up a piece of toast after going to the dentist office. Memories.
I remember.
This is great. Look at us.
Look, we're
breakthrough?
we're uncovering memories.
Oh
this is
my
great.
God.
Your memories help me with my memories.
Yes.
When we were still in our apartment, this is after my mom got divorced. She had dated several hundred people, and
I almost just spit my water across the room.
And she was with my stepfather at this point. That I don't think they had been married yet. But I remember she came in, she told me, she went, "We're going to buy a house." And I looked at my mom dead in the eyes. I was 13 years old. I looked my mom dead in the windows of her fucking soul. And I said, "You buying a house is a childish dream."
Did she smack you?
Oh, she was fucking furious. And looking back, I'm like, damn, that was fucked up.
That's so true.
And then you realize just 5 short years later, her house got repossessed. And it was like, I was kind of right, wasn't I? Sheesh. Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. I guess moral of the story. Obviously, we didn't have the worst childhood.
There is always worse.
Always.
There's always worse.
But like, I felt like we recognized, something's not right
Good.
here.
Yeah.
That wasn't a good environment. And like, we've actively so hard a lot of the times work to be different.
Yeah. And I feel like we've done a lot of work, not necessarily with professionals. You should go to a professional.
Absolutely.
But
I'm just too cheap.
But we've tried really hard to like be introspective in the moment of going like, I feel this way because of something with me, not necessarily something that like the kids are doing or something that went wrong at work. Like there's a trigger that happened for me based on how I was raised, and that is what is affecting me in this moment. And luckily, because we have a really great partnership, one of us is getting really fucking hot. We can just be like, "Hey, tag out," and like leave.
Because I remember too, just like little things. You're like, oh, that was fucked up. It's not until someone else sometimes says something.
Yeah.
Because we went my entire life with grandma truths.
Yeah.
And I don't know who said it, but someone was, okay, let me back up. So a grandma truth, my grandma Krebs, Louise, she, sweet old lady, religious woman, my brother was failing out of college. Grandma truth, Ben's doing great at school.
Yeah.
Ben's taking some time off.
It was like framing something that's not going well in a way that grandma would be happy with.
Mm-hmm. Like us not going to church or believing in God. Grandma truth. We just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Right.
And then someone we were talking to were like, that's fucked up. Like, you're lying to your grandma.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, wait a minute. You're totally right. That is fucked up.
Yeah. We called it a grandma truth, but really it was a bullshit to grandma.
I don't know who said it.
I don't remember either.
But I was like, wait. I loved this woman. She was a badass lady.
She was.
And you're right. I've been fucking lying to her. I mean, she was long past at that point.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
But like grandma truths weren't initiated by the kids.
No, they weren't. They're by my mom.
By your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And all of it was like, oh, let's just make it look like we're doing great to grandma. Even if stuff was just a fucking mess.
Mm-hmm.
And like now that we are adults with our own children, we just let people fucking have it.
Yeah.
We're like, yo, stuff is a fucking mess right now.
Shit is hard.
We're going to tell random strangers on the internet about our fucked up lives.
Well, and people are like, oh my God, how is everything? How are the kids? Like, oh, it's rough. And they're like, whoa. Because everyone's like, oh, it's good. It's great.
I mean, most of the time I will just go, it's great, because I don't want to have the conversation. Mm-hmm. But like when it's somebody that you like,
right,
you understand.
Like you had kids. You have kids.
Right.
Shit's hard, man.
Like when you're talking to Denise, you're like, yo, shit's fucking.
I know I've messaged her before and I was like, yo, does the grass ever get greener? And eventually she's like, yeah. Well, and I'm like, does it?
And I guess like as we're talking about that, the other realization we've come to over the last week and a half or whatever since we've not podcasted is we're not doing this shit again.
No. 2 is it. We're not having any more kids. I can't. Because I know there's that thing of like, well, think about your Christmas morning or whatever with all the family over. And it's like, is 2 enough for that? I would love more kids, but mentally, emotionally, I can't do this again.
No.
Well, especially because like, we don't talk to your mom. We don't talk to my dad. We also don't talk to my mom anymore.
Right.
So it's like,
our support systems are not great.
Right. And like we still
because they
have
say
like
it takes a tribe. We have no
we
fucking
have like
tribe.
like 2 people.
Yeah.
Or hired help, which doesn't count.
Yeah.
So it's like, had we had all those people and like all those options and backups, maybe I'd have 500 kids. But because we don't, 2 is it.
True.
I don't have any more capacity.
Brain capacity?
Yeah. Nasal capacity.
Nasal capacity.
Yeah. So, if you didn't have a great childhood or your parents are shit, there's still hope for you.
Same, bro.
Same.
Same. I feel you.
We're here for you. Hopefully this episode hit some homes, hit home for people. Oh, I don't know. Hopefully y'all liked it. It was kind of sad. I think this is the saddest episode we've ever had.
This is more of a bummer than I think us talking about putting the dogs down.
I know.
Because this is like our own internal bummers that like we put on a really happy face to cover up, and then we're just like, hey, we're gonna give you an hour of us just talking about how fucking
how we don't have
is.
any memories of childhood. The ones we do have aren't good.
Yeah.
We don't talk to 75% of our families anymore. Mm-hmm. But you know what? We're better for it.
And like every group of friends that we've had over the years, we always look back and go, they just weren't at the same level as what we were. And that's not to say like we got all our shit figured out and we're the best ever, but it was just like
we were just on different pages.
Right. And we're still to that point now where it's like there's not a ton of people around us where it's like, you know, the same interests or like same point in life with like kids and marriage and like especially happy marriage.
Yes. Everyone hates everyone else that they're with.
What a fucking rarity. When I see like the Instagram reels or TikToks where it's like the women that are like listening to all my coworkers shit on their husbands, and I'm like, if all you do is talk shit about your partner, I don't know that you should be with them.
You should not.
I mean, like, it's fun to like talk shit to each other because it's like, like you're kind of like fucking with your best friend, but like to go behind their back and say stuff about them rather than just addressing it. Like,
I have never once said anything.
Well, like I would be in conversations with the girls at work, and like they're talking about their partners and arguments they've had and stuff, and like I'm just standing there silent, and then they would like look at me and I'm like, shit's fucking chill over here, guys. Like,
because someone sent something to me just last night. It was like a snippet from a sitcom. Like the wife was like, I'm tired of wasting my life trying to teach you where things are in the kitchen. Like, you were looking for the scissors and they've been in the same drawer for 3 years. Like, it was like the most relatable argument. And I replied back, I've never had that argument. And they were like, oh, I thought it was funny. And I was like, I guess, yeah, me too. Like, I just couldn't relate.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like to think we were very much equal partners in everything. So there's not a whole lot that happens that one of us does more than the other, or one takes part in that the other one doesn't.
Well, because I get guilty. I feel guilty when you do things. Like when you took the plates from the table to the sink yesterday or 2 nights ago or whenever it was. Because I was like, I did the dishes. I cleaned everything up. I made, Craig's lunch for the next day. I was feeling good. And then I looked over and saw that damn stack of plates. It was like 4 plates.
Yeah.
And I went, fuck. Forgot the goddamn plates. And you
like,
got up and did it. And I was like, no, that's not what I wanted.
And the whole time I'm going, oh no, I have to rinse off these 4 plates and put them in the dishwasher.
But I felt so bad because I didn't want you to think that that's what I meant. I was just so upset with myself.
I know.
Because we always do it. We clean everything up. We wipe the counters down.
Then you look at the table.
Like, God damn it. America.
But yeah, I think that's the best thing. One of the best things about our relationship is that like we're just equals. We are equal in everything, and we've always said our whole relationship that it's just been easy. It just works.
Yeah.
And like, yes, we have had arguments and we've had tough conversations and like we've had shit we've had to work through, but we have the conversations and we work through the stuff.
Especially the hard conversations, which nobody wants to have.
Yeah.
It's like you just have to have them.
Yeah.
And I feel like you should feel comfortable having those conversations with your person. And if you don't, that's okay. They're just not your person.
And I just wish more people were more willing to just say, like, I am not happy. Mm-hmm. This does not bring joy to me, and being willing to let go of it.
Well, especially because, like, if you're not happy, they're probably not happy too. And the fact that I feel like a lot of people, I know a ton of people that are like 2 unhappies, but one of them is like, if you leave me to go be happy, I'm going to make your life hell.
Oh, that was my mom with my dad.
And it's also like, that was my dad with basically everyone he's been married to.
All 3 of his marriages.
Yeah, at least 3 if he's not married now.
Right.
Bought that one. But yeah, they're like, I'm just going to make your life hell.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to threaten that so you don't leave. And it's like, okay, well, obviously they're a piece of shit. You just got to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a pain now or pain later kind of thing. Like, it's either you're going to just be miserable now and then it's still going to be hell later, or you just go through the hell now and like try and find happiness on the other side of it. Because I just feel like the longer life is only so fucking long. You don't know if you've got tomorrow. Nobody does. And like as you get older, that becomes more apparent. Like I think when you're in your late teens and in 20s, you're like, I'm fucking invincible. Nothing will ever stop me. But like, you know, one of my best friends died at 36. Dead. Fucking gone. I mean, I had a friend in high school that died at 14. You know, it's like you have no clue. So why spend more days unhappy than you have to?
Well, I saw something I liked it. I'm not even going to try to find it. So I'm just going to make it up. It was like, yeah, you die for your kids. Everyone says they would die for their kids. But like, would you live for your kids?
Right.
So it's like, would you, you know, eat healthy and move your body and just feel good and be healthy and like be introspective enough to like kind of navigate your life in the best way? Like, no one says anything about that because that's hard.
Right.
Of course you would die for your kids. But like being the best version of you for them is the hardest thing.
Well, and it's all about, like we've been talking about pretty much this whole episode, is like giving your kids memories of you to be proud of. Like, what could be cooler than watching your parent at, you know, in their 30s or 40s or 50s doing like some physical event and doing well for themselves, whether that's running a 5K or a marathon, or they do a bicycle race, or, you know, just like something that they do for themselves, but, you know, it's something that you can watch them do and succeed at. I think that's got to be so cool.
I would think so. And like, I guess even if, you know, if you don't have kids, I don't know how many people listen to this without kids, but, you know, hiccups. Looking at you. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I guess I kind of lost my whole train of thought just doing that shout out. But, I don't know. Like, I feel like it would feel so good to be like, you know, you take that time to be introspective, you know, think about your own weaknesses. And obviously no one wants to do that because it sucks.
Right.
And then like, how can I be better? Whatever that means to you. And then I think like, you know, so you feel better. You do those little things that add up, you know, Atomic Habits or whatever. Not that I read that book because I haven't. I've just been collecting dust on my side table.
I've told you about that book.
I know, for sure. But then it's like, I don't know, like you just have that confidence and you can just fucking take souls. And that is
David
what
Goggins.
I'm about. I'm just like spitting 7 effective habits,
You're
baby.
Like fucking James
I'm
Clear
a
books,
self-help book.
David Goggins books.
Can't hurt me.
Because I was listening to Goggins' book today, the new one, Never Finished, and the chapter that I was on is called Merry Fucking Christmas, and he was explaining that he says that not because it has anything to do with the holiday, but because life is going to hand you fucking presents that you don't want, and they're going to come when you're not ready for them. And that could be because he talked about he was in AFib, like they were about to go on a vacation. He had just launched his book, his last book, and had to go to the fucking hospital. And they're like, "Hey man, your heart is out of rhythm with itself. You can't." He's a ultra marathon runner, like super fit dude, and then like out of nowhere, his heart's all fucked up. You know, but it's just, you don't know. You have no idea what tomorrow brings. So it's like, just do cool shit today.
Do our February challenge.
Bring it back. Bring it all the way back around.
Yeah. Fuck it. Fuck it up, fam. Do it right now.
And, you know, it doesn't have to be a physical. It could just, it could be
reading 10 minutes,
drawing every day.
Whatever your little heart desires, whatever would make you feel good.
Just make it something that is going to get you out of your comfort zone.
Do it.
All right, you ready for our question?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
I'm not ready.
And this is for you two at home. If you can instantly become one, what would you want to be an expert in?
Oh, we kind of talked about this in well, I guess it was, I was talking to animals the last episode.
That's not becoming an expert. That's like Aquaman. You're like a superhero.
Gosh, I don't know.
An expert in one area.
What would you pick?
It'd probably be something like, I mean, it's going to be really selfish, and I think it's just because I could make a fuckload of money with it, but it'd be like, battery mechanics or something like that, because you could just like invent some cool battery technology that goes into every goddamn thing on the planet and just make millennia's loads of money. But like if it was just like to be an expert in something I'm really like already interested in, it'd probably be like photography or videography, like just to be really confident and competent in those things, and just like not to make money off of it, but just to like have a hobby that I can use to like capture things around me, and like just something that would make me happy, something artistic.
Because I didn't think of anything right off the rip until you started talking.
And then you're like, shut up, I have an idea.
No, I have two.
Okay.
My first idea I thought was the Titanic. Because I love it. I love the Titanic. It's tragic.
I love it.
I love hundreds of people freezing to death. That's great.
Best thing ever.
But I also saw a conspiracy that the Titanic never happened. Like it never sank.
Well, then it wasn't the Titanic.
Wasn't it? We'll never know because I'm not an expert. And the next thing I thought was sign language. If I could be absolutely fluent in that.
That would be really cool.
Because I mean, God, I've taken Spanish, German, French. I took German for like 5 years.
Armageddon, baby.
Guten Tag. I know
it was Armageddon
nothing.
you guys watched, right? Armageddon?
It was Chronicles of Narnia and
Chronicles of
Zoolander.
Narnia.
We watched over and over and over again.
In
All in
German?
English. All in English. I loved that teacher. Herr Thompson. I don't know where you are. You were a great teacher. And
not a great, not in German anyways, because
he was such a cool guy.
You didn't learn shit.
We had a lot of reasons.
He was a cool guy, but he was not a good teacher.
It was great. And then he left us and we had Frau Klan. She sucked. Anyway.
Frau Klan. Vashti's das.
Yeah. Oh, we would just throw spitballs at her. I remember I had to get detention in junior high and I had to go pick up trash in the hallways. That was my detention.
How much
during
trash
track
was in the
season.
hallways?
Middle schoolers, there was lots of paper bits and debris.
They have janitors.
It was me in detention. I was a janitor. I even remember the janitors were out like, what's this bitch doing? And Frau Klan was like, meh, 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 meh. I hope she's doing well. She was a terrible teacher. But anyway, I took sign language in college. Loved it.
Got certified.
I try and teach the kids sign.
I will say we use sign pretty frequently in our everyday lives. Not like to have conversations, but like teaching the kids and like
more, please, thank you. The basics.
Boy, girl, mom, dad.
Oh yeah. Oh, she's so cute when she signs boy and girl. Put your thumb up, girl. Boy. Love it. But yeah, so I would say that. So not super extravagant or fancy, but like just thinking like those sign language interpreters at like the rap shows and stuff. So cool.
It is really cool.
When I see a video, I'm not watching the performance. I'm watching them.
Even when they do like back when DeWine was doing the everybody called it Wine with DeWine.
Yeah, the COVID thing.
The COVID updates, and they would have the interpreter on there. I couldn't focus on him because I was just watching the interpreter.
And like on the circle, Raven.
Oh, yeah.
Like I watch her sign and I like try to pick up what she's saying, like for new words and words I recognize.
Yeah.
I just think it's so cool.
Yeah. It's such an interesting way to be able to communicate. And it's just one of those things that like most people will never get exposed to or use.
Right. Because everyone's heard another language, but like to see it.
Well, and most schools just don't offer it, right? Like, French, Spanish, German, those are all pretty standard like offerings.
Right. We had Latin, and I'm like, Latin, come on.
You guys had a Latin class? Did we have Latin? I know we had
a swimming pool. Okay.
For all of our cows.
Oh.
That'd be kind of sweet.
I don't think cows can swim.
Cow swimming lessons.
Someone an expert in cows, let us know. Can cows swim? I don't know if they can. I wasn't a very good country bumpkin, apparently, if I don't know if cows can swim.
You're not a good country mouse?
No. Oats and beans.
City mouse?
Cheese and cake?
I don't remember.
I don't either. That's not a good song. Any hootin'.
Any hootin'. We'll wrap it up there. See you in the next one.
Catch you on the flip, babes.